So I continue to see posts and comments from some of you and from others on some of the forums that I take a look at. And there's still a lot of people complaining that their sales are just dead. And I'm not experiencing that. And I sell all kinds of different things. There's got to be an answer for it. And hopefully this video will give you some ideas. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy. And as I said in the intro, I want to help you guys figure this whole thing out. Maybe your sales are just tanked. Maybe your sales are okay, but we're in Q4 right now. Sales for me are doing pretty well. I'm not complaining. I'm pretty happy about it. I'm only expecting things to get better as we get closer to December. And right now is a time where you guys should be making money. Some of you guys out there had some issues with the Q4 update or the fall winter update, and I'll put a link right there for the video that I put out about that. And that caused a lot of problems, you know, for a lot of the affected categories. I had some listings in the automobile parts, you know, some of these pallets that I get, they do have auto parts in them. And I came across a few, and I can understand what happened there. There's a lot of these category changes. I had a couple items that weren't even in a valid category. I went in and tried to, update to find out why these items weren't even moving, and to come to find out that the category that eBay had placed them in wasn't even one that it was going to allow me to even alter the listing without changing that category. And if you sell in, a lot of these different categories that they changed, you're going to find that not only are your listings in the right category, but your listings probably aren't even visible to anyone. I had to go in and change the actual category to one that makes sense. And I'm hopeful that I'll move a couple of these items, but that explains why I wasn't seeing any sales with the auto parts that I do have. The few auto parts that I do sell in my store. So, guys, I think it's easy though sometimes to blame eBay on our slow sales. And while some of that is true, eBay is responsible for all these item specific issues and category issues that, a lot of other YouTubers have been talking about the last few weeks. There's still, the bottom line is, how you run your business is going to determine, how well you persevere through times like this when, you have adversity and eBay is not helping anything, helping the matters at all. How's your sourcing? Let's start there. Does your sourcing allow you to come down? If you buy an item for $2 and you have it listed for $20, after fees and all that stuff, you should have some room to work with. But if your price per item is so high and the market is so low where you have no room to work with, and when you do make a sale at the price that you're listing it as, are you really making a whole lot? I think a lot of times we tend to price what we want on an item, but we don't really have a full understanding of what our market is. And I deal with all kinds of different items, and I don't pretend to think I know everything on every item that I'm selling and what it's valued at. I do a lot of research, and that's why it takes me a little longer to list an item, because I want to find that price that will allow the item to sell in a timely manner, but I want to be kind of on the high end because I'm constantly lowering my prices so I can actually find that market. So I really think you need to get in tune with what you need to price that item at to get it to sell. And one thing I like to do is I've talked to you guys about this before, go into the sold. So when you do a search for your item in eBay search, you get a lot of results. Down the left side, and this is on the PC or Mac, down the left side you should see a filter, and that says sold items. Click on that, and then it'll show you a bunch of items that have a green price. and that is designates that it has been sold at that price. And find your item in the condition that you're selling it as, and that'll give you some idea on where to begin. And you need to do research on your items, because if you're just throwing it out there, you know, hey, I see someone trying to sell this item for 20, let me throw it for 20, but it's only selling for 15, your item's going to be stuck up there. Now, your photos. I've seen some stores. I do a lot of research on stores to get an idea of things that I could do differently or better. Some of you have sent me links to your stores, and you can do that at flippinainteasy2020@gmail.com. Be glad to take a look for you. But there's a lot of things that I see that sellers just aren't doing. The photos, maybe you're not using a very clear photo. Maybe it's a hazy photo. Maybe your background isn't a white background, or maybe a background that actually looks good with your item. You know, there's the title. A lot of titles really have unnecessary stuff included in the titles. A lot of wasted space where you could be adding features of the item at the end of the title. Your prices, again, are just way too high. And I think that's what's holding a lot of us back, is just a lot of those things. Now, some of you have collectibles and one-off items. It's really hard to get an idea of where your pricing should be. You know, again, you need to figure out what your price per item is, and just keep lowering that price every so often until you find that sweet spot. I think sometimes it's a little bit more than your title, your photo, your price. That's the core of the basics, but eBay, the algorithm, likes to reward people for activity. For instance, on Saturday, I didn't really do any eBay at all. I was out and about, just taking a day off, and I only had $100 and some odd in sales that day. And normally on the weekend, it's probably one of my better days, Saturday and Sunday. And I think eBay was kind of maybe holding that against me. I did have some listings that I did launch. I launched like 5 listings that morning, but I really think that eBay wants to see consistent activity. And, you know, I have a routine. I go in and I give a 0.2% discount on all items that are over a week old. I go in and take 5 to 10 listings that are old and stagnant, and I end the listing and resell similar. And I try to find something to change on that listing, whether it be the photo, maybe swap them around. Maybe it's the title. Maybe I need to improve the title. Maybe I need to look at lowering my price. But I do 5 to 10 of those a day, and you will be surprised that maybe not even that item that you lowered or changed will get a sale. Maybe it's a totally different item that's been sitting in your store forever that you haven't had a chance to get to. That out of the blue will sell. It's just strange how the algorithm works, but I know that activity is what eBay wants to see from you. And I think a lot of times we tend to want to blame eBay for our lack of sales when the answer lies within us. Sometimes we're not putting in that effort. We're not putting in the time. Some of you, have a full-time job, part-time job, don't have the kind of time that a full-time reseller would have to dedicate to a lot of these things, but you got to find and make the time. We're talking 20, 30 minutes max. You can do these extra things. eBay will reward you with sales. Again, I think the answer for most of us lies within the things that we need to do. Now, if you've been affected over the last 3 weeks because of the whole Q4 changes and all that, you need to get in there and change your categories. You need to get in there and maybe end and relist your items, or sell similar, because I think that's going to give you a boost on those items. It sucks to have to tell you that, but I think that for a lot of you who've seen a drop off when, October 12th came and went, I think for most of you, that's what you need to do. But for the rest of you that are having slow sales, it's a lot of different things that you can do every day, not just once in a while, but you have to be consistent. And if you show that consistency and do everything you're supposed to do, there's no way you're not going to get at least more sales than you're seeing now. So I'm going to show you my exact routine, what I do every day. And as you could see, it's really doing well with my sales. I get about 6 to 10 sales a day on my account. So I'm in my seller hub. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my listings in active. Okay. And once I'm there, it's going to show you my active listings. Now, I want to organize this and sort this out by time left. So I'm going to click on time left. So if you scroll to your right on your listings at the very top, you'll see time left. And you have to do it again because I want to sort it from newest listed or carried over, newest listed to the oldest. So my my goal here is to look for any listing that is older than 7 days. So that means that on a 30-day month, we need to go down, and sorry about the scrolling, but I'm going down to 22 days and change. So you can see here, I'm going down to, let me just bring the screen up a little bit more so you guys can see better, even though it's going to be more difficult. 22 days and 18 hours. So it's kind of right there. And so I'm going to go over to the left and I'm going to highlight or check every item that is older than 7 days. Now, on the first screen, you got to kind of do it this way. You have to go through and click on all these items individually. Okay. And what I'm doing here is essentially I'm going in and I'm going to discount any item that is over 7 days listed or beyond 7 days listed. And the point in that is once I get these all checked, I'm going to go in and do a bulk edit. And this is how you do a bulk edit. So instead of doing each one of these, hitting edit on each one and or going along and changing the price for each one, I'm going to tell the system I want to change the price. I'm going to go back up here to edit here. I want to change the price by a very small percentage. So I'm going to hit edit and then edit selected. I'm not going to do all 521 because again, I am only interested in the ones that are older than 7 days. So I'm going to hit edit selected and it's going to sit here and process for a minute. It's maybe hard to see. Again, I'm going to try to blow it up a little bit so you can. And I'm going to click on this box right here, and that's going to select all your listings, okay? And then I'm going to go up to edit fields or all the listings that you have previously selected. I'm going to go to edit fields, and I'm going to go over to price, quantity, best offer, okay? And I'm going to the buy it now price. We want to change or decrease it by. And I've picked 0.2%. I'm going to do percent, not amount, but 0.2%. On a $100 item, you're only looking at 20 cents. So it's not adjusting it by much. Okay. Now I'm going to go $7.99 here. It's kind of what I do. I do have some small priced items still in my store, even though we've discussed that I no longer list items that are under $20 after shipping. And it's just, to me, it helps bring my price per sale up. So now, again, we're going to decrease by 0.2% and don't go below whatever number you set. I set $7.99. Save and close. And there's 65 listings on the first page that met the criteria of being over a week old. Didn't get any errors. And I think I have an error. Return policy cannot be revised. I don't don't know what that's about, it may be because I have an offer on the item out to a buyer. Submit changes, and then confirm and submit. Okay. I'm not going to fix errors. It's not that big of a deal for this exercise. Okay, so that's the first page. Now I'm going to scroll all the way down to page 2. Click on 2. And now I know that all these listings are older than a week because we have already sorted this in order by date. So we're going to click this button up here. That's going to select all the listings on page 2. And I'm going to edit selected. And of course, page 2, there's 200 listings. I did not exclude any listings on page 2. Going to click the check mark, edit fields, price, quantity, best offer. Once again, we're going to go to decrease by 0.2%, and then don't go below $7.99. Save and close. Now I do this once per day. I usually do this after I get my shipping done, or my residual shipping done in the morning. It's just part of one of the things that I do. To me, it shows eBay not only am I creating activity on every listing that's over a week old, but I'm also changing the price and lowering that price in some way. Now, a lot of this has to do with how flexible you are on your prices. And that goes a long way with your sourcing. If you work with small margins, you probably can't do this, okay? That's why your sourcing is so important. So I'm going to do the third page, and I'm going to do edit selected again. And on the third page, there's 121 left. And of course, they all meet the criteria of over a week old. Edit fields, price, quantity, best offer. Decrease the buy it now price by 0.2%. And then you pick whatever number that you don't want to go any lower than. The idea behind this is that eventually, if you changed your price or lowered your price every day until your item sells, it will eventually find what I call the market price, the price that most buyers are willing to pay for that item. The truth is, most of us overprice our items because we want more for our items than we probably deserve. And that's because maybe we've seen a comp or two that has sold for X amount of dollars, and we want our item to go for X amount of dollars when the majority are going for lower than that. Okay? And that's not to say that the price you've chosen will not sell. This just allows your item to continually get lower and lower and lower until you hit that sweet spot. I know a lot of people do a store refresh, but why not just take the time using the same method? That's the store refresh that I showed you, but it is also doing something with your prices. It is lowering your prices. So over weeks, that price is going to gradually get lower and lower and lower. And at some point, you're eventually going to find not your price, but the buyer's price, what I like to call the market price. That's the price that most buyers will want to pay for your item. And they're not going to buy your item until it gets down to somewhere within that range. Please comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about my method. I think it's time for us to be a little more honest with ourselves as to the effort and the time and the consistency that we're putting into our eBay store. And only when you get to that place where you are consistent with not only your price, your titles, and your photos, you get those things fixed, but when you're consistent with the time you put into refreshing your store, lowering your prices, relisting or selling similar items, ending and reselling, like I was telling you about, only then will eBay start to reward some of you. And I know that there's some of you out there that do all these things and say, hey, my sales are still low, but you really need to dig down deep and try to figure out what is it that you can do to your listings, to your store, every day that you're not doing right now and give that a shot, because it's the definition of insanity when we continue to do the same things over and over again and we expect a different result. I think sometimes we get caught up in that. So don't be insane. Do the things that you need to do. Spend the extra time in your store, and I firmly believe that it will benefit you greatly. So tell me what you think. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit that notification bell so that you're notified when I go live or make another one of these videos. Now, programming note, I believe 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern, I will be on Liquidation Motivations live stream, at least for now. That's what the plan is. So head on over there and check out that channel. We'll be doing that. And I may do a live stream at some point this week when maybe I just want to take a break from shipping or listing or whatever. And hopefully you'll get that notification by clicking that bell, and you'll be notified and tune in and hang out with me. So guys, slow sales, excellent sales. It's Q4. We got to get our store rolling here. Hopefully this video gives you guys some ideas on maybe new things to try. But either way, I sum it up as flippin' ain't easy. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I hope to hear from you in the comments, and I will be talking to you very soon. Have a great rest of your day.